Hello doctors, this is Dr. Harshit Jain, MBBS MD. So today's topic is brachial plexus. What is brachial plexus? It is a combination of two words, brachium and plexus. Brachium means arm and plexus means network. So it is a network of nerves providing cutaneous and muscular supply to the upper limb. So we see how it is formed. So there are three agendas of this class. That is, one is formation. Formation and branches. So we'll talk about how it is formed and its branches. Branches are very, very important. So we'll see that it is formed by the ventral rami. I repeat, ventral rami of C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1. So these are known as the roots. In brachial plexus, we form a network, and these networks follow a sequence like roots, then trunks, then divisions, then cords. R, T, D, C. So it is easy to remember. Roots, trunks, divisions and cords. So roots, which roots are there? Ventral rami of C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1. So we'll see how it will be formed. C5 and C6 combine to form the upper trunk. C7 will continue as a middle trunk, and C8 and T1 will form lower trunk. And these trunks gives anterior and posterior divisions. The upper trunk give anterior division, this is posterior division. Middle trunk is also giving the anterior division and posterior division. The lower trunk is also giving the posterior division and the anterior division. In this diagram, we can see the posterior divisions are drawn in blue while the anterior divisions are continuing as yellow. So when these divisions combine, we form three cords. The three cords are the lateral cord, the posterior cord and the medial cord. So we'll try to draw this brachial plexus. So C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1. So we have say roots. These roots will combine to form trunks. So C5 and C6 to combine the upper trunk, while it will continue as a middle trunk, while C8 and T1 will combine to form the lower trunk. These are the roots, these are the trunks, upper, middle and lower. These trunks gives anterior and posterior divisions respectively. So we'll have anterior and posterior division. So all the three trunks are giving anterior and posterior divisions. Anterior division, posterior division, anterior division, posterior division, posterior division and anterior division. And these divisions will form the cords. There are three cords: lateral cord, posterior cord and medial cord. So it will be the lateral cord, it will be the posterior cord and it will be the medial cord. So this is the diagram from the grace. You can see that C5 and C6 combines to form the upper trunk, C7 continues middle trunk, C8 and T1 combines to form the lower trunk. Lower trunk, lower, middle and upper trunk. The three trunks are given the anterior and posterior division. Anterior and posterior division, anterior division, posterior division, anterior, posterior division and anterior division. Now it is formed. There are two variants of the brachial plexus, that is prefixed and postfixed. What is the meaning of prefixed? If there is contribution from C4, that is one number above the C5, it is known as the prefix. And if there is a contribution from T2, then it is known as postfix. Now we'll see the branches. So the branches will be from the roots, from the trunks. Divisions, there are no branches, and from the cords. So the branches from the roots, from the trunks. Divisions doesn't give branches, and the cords give branches. So from the roots we have dorsal scapular nerve and long thoracic nerve. So there is the two nerves from the roots, two branches from the roots, that is the dorsal scapular nerve and long thoracic nerve. Dorsal scapular nerve comes from the C5. C5 is giving dorsal scapular nerve. Dorsal scapular nerve is supplying the muscles attached on the dorsal side of the scapula, that is the levator scapulae, rhomboid minor and rhomboid major. So on the dorsal side of the scapula, dorsal scapular nerve supplying the three muscles, levator scapulae, rhomboid minor and rhomboid major. Then we have the long thoracic nerve with formation with the help of C5, C6 and C7. It supplies the muscle here. It is the serratus anterior. Serratus anterior is supplied by the long thoracic nerve. These two nerves are coming from the roots. Then the branches from the trunks. From the upper trunk only we are having the branches which are known as the suprascapular nerve and the nerve to subclavius. Suprascapular nerve is supplying the suprascapular, means it has to be with scapula. Okay, so there are two muscles, supraspinatus and infraspinatus. So suprascapular nerve is supplying both supraspinatus and infraspinatus. Then we come to nerve to subclavius. It is in the name only, nerve to subclavius. Subclavius muscle is supplied by this muscle. Then we have the divisions. Divisions have no branches. Then we have cords. These cords have mnemonics. These cords, the branches of these cords have mnemonic. So I'll tell the mnemonics. So mnemonic is the lateral cord. The mnemonic is L, L, L. LML. LML used to be a scooter, very popular in early 90s. So is LML. LML means lateral pectoral nerve, musculocutaneous nerve, and lateral root of median nerve. So these are the branches coming from the lateral cord. Then we have the posterior cord. So the posterior cord is ulnar. Ulnar. So ulnar nerve, lower subscapular, and this will be the radial. We have the upper and lower subscapular nerves. Then we have the nerve to latissimus dorsi. Nerve to latissimus dorsi is also known as thoracodorsal nerve. Okay, and A for axillary nerve and R for radial nerve. So it is the mnemonic for the posterior cord, that is ulnar. We have a mnemonic for the medial cord also, and that is M for U. M for U means 4 times M and last M for U. So it is ulnar. First is medial pectoral, medial root of median nerve. These are the cutaneous nerves, the medial cutaneous nerve of arm and the medial cutaneous nerve of forearm. So we have the mnemonic for M for U. we can see the branches and the nerves, branches and the muscles they are supplying. So we can see the lateral pectoral nerve is supplying the pectoralis major. The musculocutaneous nerve is supplying the flexor compartment of the arm, that is the biceps brachii, brachialis and the coracobrachialis. Then we have the lateral root of median nerve. Then we come on the upper and the lower subscapular nerve. Upper subscapular nerve supplies subscapularis, while the lower subscapular nerve supplies subscapularis plus teres major. Then we have nerve to latissimus dorsi, that is thoracodorsal nerve. Axillary nerve supplies deltoid and teres minor. Radial nerve is the nerve of the extensor compartment. It is the nerve of extensor compartment, radial nerve. Then we have medial pectoral nerve. Medial pectoral nerve supplies pectoralis major and pectoralis minor. Medial pectoral nerve. Okay. And we have median root of median nerve. Medial root of median nerve combines with the lateral root of median nerve to form the median nerve. We all know median nerve supplies muscles of the hand and the lateral side of the forearm. Okay. So then we have the ulnar nerve. Ulnar nerve also supplies the medial half, medial not half actually. It is the only 1.5 muscles.